Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a utility class using JavaScript ES 2015. The utility class is a very simple static class that does not get instantiated. It is just a library of common methods that might be used in everyday applications. So let's go ahead and create the utility class. So class utils. Although we never instantiate this class, I'm going to go ahead and put in the constructor function. Constructor. And I'll leave the code blank. And now we need a static method. Again, this is going to be like the math class you guys done in JavaScript. You never instantiate the math class to use, for instance, the random method. You just do the name of the class dot random, like math dot random with a capital M. That's because the class is static and the methods in this class are static. You access the methods via the class name. And we're going to imitate that philosophy here with the utils class. One method that I want to add to this utils class is the getAverage method. It'd be kind of cool that anytime I want to calculate the average of a list of numbers, I can just call on the static method that's included in our little library of static methods, also known as our utility class. I'm going to go ahead now and add the method getAverage. Notice that the method is static like all our methods will be, meaning that we run or invoke this method off the name of the class and not the instance of the class. Our method has one argument, it's an array, and all we really do here is loop through that array, add all the elements together, and then divide by the total number of elements in that array to obtain our average. I'm going to go ahead and test this method. So I'm going to go to our main, and let's create an array called grades equals 70, 80, 90, and now I'm going to invoke that method that we just created in our utils class. Remember now that method getAverage is static, so we don't have to instantiate the utils class. We just need to know the actual name of the class. So it's utils dot getAverage, and the array I want to provide to this method is grades. And I need to actually console log this, so I'm going to put a console log in front, console.log, so we can actually see the average in the console. Let's put our closing parentheses at the end. Let's go ahead and run this code. So open up the browser, reload, and we get an error. It's saying utils is not defined. Well, let's go back to our code. And notice what we've done here. We have two separate JS files. The utils.js file, which contains our actual utility class and the static methods, and our main.js. Well, if we go to our HTML, notice the only file we're including in the script tag is main.js. So when the page loads, the only JavaScript that the page is aware of is main.js. But if you look at the main.js, it's trying to access a utils class that doesn't exist. So there's a dependency there. So what we need to do in our HTML file is load the dependency file first. So I'll go back to the HTML file. I'm going to copy and paste this guy here, paste it here, change main to utils. And notice what is getting loaded first now. The utils.js file will load first, and then the main.js file. The rule is load your dependency files first. Main requires the object utils that's in the utils.js file. That's the dependency here. Load that first, and then load main.js. So now when I refresh the browser, the error should go away. Let's go back to Chrome, refresh, and it shows the correct average. The array was 70, 80, 90, and it returned the average of those three numbers, which is 80. In summary, a utils class is a simple class with a whole bunch of static methods that you've created and that you can refer to at any given time. You can always add to this class. Let's say you want to make a function called getArea, and you're only writing this function code so you don't want to memorize the formula. And let's say it's the area of a rectangle, so you have two arguments, L comma W, and it's just going to return the length times the width, which is L times W. So you created a second method, and now it's stored in this utility class. So anytime you want to use this method, you can just access it through the utils class. You don't have to worry about memorizing these formulas. Now imagine you have a whole bunch of these, not just the area of a rectangle, you get the area of a circle, area of a triangle, a whole bunch of math related formulas. You can store all that information here and just use it at any time at your convenience. One last thing I want to add to this, and it's very important, is to make sure the utility class or the utils class is in a separate JS file. separate from any other classes. Do not add other classes onto this utils.js file. It should be all by itself.